Hello everyone, here I am in another video and my hair is looking terrible right now, but anyway, today I decided to talk about a subject that I randomly had thought and I want to share with you. That is basically changing and how hard it is for us in some moments of our lives to deal with that. In my case, it's kind of funny because I was always pursuing changing. But I say that for some people it's a bit harder to deal with that. And oh my god. And I live in an environment where changing is always avoided. My parents they hate changing. They have the same routine for like years. They go to the same place to have their haircut. They always eat in the same restaurants and it was like a sickness to me because I always loved changing and I always pursuing it. But I understand that not everyone is like me. And what I want to bring here is because in our lives, it's impossible for us to live the same way like forever. Things are always changing, the world is always changing, and we cannot avoid it. And I know that for some people, this change may be scary. But what I'm trying to do right now is give you some kind of peaceful point of view when it comes to changing and also share a bit of my thoughts about changing and how I deal with that. Because even though I love changing every single thing in my life, it doesn't mean that I'm always changing, you know? There are some things in my daily life that are the same for like years as well. Because this comfort of the known is a safe place for us. And I won't deny that sometimes I'm also scared of changing. Sometimes I'm also afraid of what this change can bring to my life and afraid that I will not be able to deal with this changing, you know? But sometimes you should only do it without think so much. And also understand that if you're actually pursuing a big change in your life, it may take time. Because sometimes in my life I'm so, like um in the urge to have some kind of change that I want it for now. But I've been learning in small steps that big changes take time, even though I don't like it. I wanted everything to change overnight, but it's unable to happen. So, basically, I will give you an example of how unafraid of changing I am and how some people have this fear. You know, I right now my hair is pretty long, as you can see. Let me just uh, turn off the the alarm. I have a long hair. Look how long it is. And I will have a haircut this month here. So as you can see, it will be a huge loss, as you can see. And I'm not afraid of that because even though I will have a big haircut and I will lost a lot of my hair, it is something that I want. Having haircut is not an old place to me because through my teenage I had a short haircut through my whole teenage. So for me it's not something weird. But I noticed that for my sister, for example, she will never cut her hair this short because she's afraid. She's afraid of not looking good with this hair. She's afraid of her hair not growing again because she her hair was really short when she were a kid. she take a time for have a long hair, and I was quite the opposite because I have a long hair since I was 3 years old because I had a lot of hair and my head it kind of grows pretty fast. So because of that, having a short haircut is not scary because you know my hair will grow again even though it takes time. I am able to be patient to wait, but she's not. And I noticed that for many humans, it's really hard to have such a short hairstyle because we live in a society where our beauty are really related to the length of our hair, you know? And because of that, we fear that once we have a short haircut, we will look old, we will look ugly. And I think it's actually ridiculous because if you're pretty, you will look pretty anyway. But I understand that it's all a outside pressure that we have. And I myself, I've been in this pressure through these 4 years because, as I said, I had a short haircut through my whole teenage, and I received a lot of criticism because of the hair. Many people around me in my family, they literally pointed fingers and criticized my hair, saying that it was literally ugly right in front of my face. And once I decided to have a long hair again, and it was in 2022, many people started to complain me like, "Don't cut it again. You look much prettier with long hair." But I never felt that I would only look pretty if I had a long hair. I also felt pretty having a short hair. But once I get into this standard when it comes to human in our society, I understood how differently people started to treat me. You know, my face is the same, my body is the same, but only because of my hair, you consider me ugly, only because it's short. And that's why I understand that some women are really afraid of having a short hair because they understand they may not be prepared to deal with this kind of criticism, you know? And I have to say, it didn't come from them. It mainly came from other humans, which I think is even worse, but it came from some men as well. But anyway, so that's why this small example is to show you that sometimes changing is scary because we are so afraid of how other people will react from this change. We are afraid that we may not be able to accept ourselves in this new situation, with this new appearance, with this new moment of our life. We may be afraid of not being able to deal with this with the responsibilities that this new phase of our lives bring to us. And it's totally fine. It's totally okay. But we have to be prepared and we have to kind of strengthen ourselves to these changes. We have to strengthen ourselves to this kind of things because it's like impossible. We will not be the same your whole life. The people that you have in your life today, you don't have any kind of confirmation that they will be in your life forever. And you have to be prepared for that. And sometimes these changes are so all of a sudden that we may not be prepared. But we have to learn in the process to accept this change and deal with the consequences, and don't let people who are not related to these changes to point fingers on us, to opinate in your situation because you're the one who will live in it. You're the one who decided it. It happens to you. So it's only up to you to decide what it is to you. Sometimes in your life, we will have to move to another country, to another city, even though we didn't want it. But we have to be open minded to this change. Maybe I didn't want it to live here, but I'm going to a place where I can meet new people, where I can invest in something that only this place can proportionate me. You know, I can try new foods. I can, like live a new culture and try my best to observe everything good that this culture will give to me. You know, even though I'm not excited to this, you know, I may, given the same example of the short hair, I had to cut my hair. In my case, I have to cut it because it's long, but it is pretty full because I had a huge hair loss and my hair is growing again. So basically, my new hair is around here. And I want my hair to grow again full with a lot of volume. And I don't have it anymore. And I have to understand that once I have a haircut, I'll be entering in a new phase of my life where I will have a new appearance, where I'll have to try different styles. I will not look the same as I'm looking right now, but I have to think in a positive way. I would think that it would be much easier for me to deal with this hair. It's easier to wash it. It's easier to stylish it, you know. And I have to be optimist. I have to be optimist about this new look. I can take some misses. I can add some accessories to this that will make me feel more confident about it. I can inspire myself in characters, in it girls, in models that also has a short hair, like Nana, for example, which is my main style um inspiration. But other some celebrities as well, like Grace Abrams, because I love her hair. I think she looks stunning, and I can get inspos for these people. You know, it will be a new phase. Of course, people will update. Of course, people will point fingers on my new hair, will criticize it. But I have to understand they don't understand fashion. Basically, I have to understand that they do not see what I'm seeing. And if they don't like it, in the end of the day, it's my hair, not theirs. So don't care if they like it or not, but I'm sure I will find people who will like it, you know because when I had my huge haircut, that I literally had a pig's haircut, my family criticized me a lot. I was feeling so pretty, but because of all the criticism and because I was in the peak of my depression, that really made me felt ugly. But one day I was waiting for my Uber at a basically a food shop, let me say it that way. And a lady stopped me and said, "Girl, your hair looks amazing. I loved your haircut." I didn't know her. She didn't know me. But their small comment made me feel so much better because I was like, I don't care anymore if all those people around me think I'm ugly, think I don't look good with my new hair. But there are people who will find it pretty. There are people who will see what I tried to do with my hair once I had this haircut, you know? And let's be honest, short hair is much more stylish than the long hair. I can say that because I had both. So I have a place of speaking here, basically. So I know that change is scary because, as I said, there are many things in my life that I'm scared to change. And sometimes there are things in my life that I like so much the way as they are that I don't see reasons to change, you know? So even though for me it would be fine to try something new, I like so much the thing as it is that I don't see reasons to change, and it is completely normal. But if what is limiting you to change is your fear, or insecure, or you're being stuck in a place that you don't like and you're settling for less only because you're scared to change. Maybe you should make up yourself with changing and understand that even though it is scared, even though you're coming out of a safe place to a new one that can be safe or not, you may be losing a lot of greater things only because you do not allow yourself to get out of the place you're stuck in. You know, the same way you're safe, you're also maybe wasting a lot of amazing experiences because of this fear. So if this fear is limiting you, you have to reconsider it. Because as I said, things will change, liking you or not, waiting you for it or not. It will happen and you cannot avoid it unless you isolate yourself from the world and live inside a cave just like the character from Notes from Underground. Is that living? It's not. So if you want to live, you have to understand that you have to try out new things and be open to change, even though it's not something you want right now, you know? So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it and see you next week with a better view because this week I'm kind of in a rush. So, bye.